Okay, I guess we're back on television. Up and Adams. Oh, now do Interstellar. Oh, I didn't know about this. ESPN draft analyst, insider, also hopefully has an issue with Interstellar. Matt Miller, what does that take? What is that take?
That was sarcasm, Kay. I love Interstellar. I'm not gonna start off my day pissing off the nerds. So I love Interstellar.
But do you think that every man understands Interstellar? That's my take. That like
No,
we're
absolutely
joking.
not.
Yeah, I like you. I knew I liked you, Matt Miller. It's that whole
Yeah.
Midwest thing going on. Let's not piss off the nerds. In fact, let's double down on the nerdiness. Let's do this. You have a 7-round mock draft. You are a sick pup, Matt. You put it out last week. Check it out over at ESPN.com. 257 picks. This is your world. Can you tell me, as I finally decide to cram for the exam that is the NFL draft, what makes this one unique? I'm sure you have the same process, the same whatever. What stood out about this one?
Well, we have a unique player, Travis Hunter, at the top of this draft. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've never seen someone try to do what he's doing, playing wide receiver and corner full time. We've seen guys like Charles Woodson, Champ Bailey, Jabril Peppers. They came into the NFL doing a little bit of one thing, playing offense, mostly playing defense. Travis Hunter is very adamant that he's going to play both. He's going to play offense, he's going to play defense, and it does make him really, really unique because he won the Heisman Trophy as a two-way player. He also won an award as the best wide receiver in football, while at the same time winning an award as the best defensive player in college football last year. So what he's doing at that level is unprecedented. So that really sets off, I think, the tempo for this draft class is that there are a lot of unique, versatile players like Jalen Walker from Georgia, like Abdul Carter from Penn State, who might be the number 2 overall pick in this draft. So it is a really fun year where we do have that versatility, a lot of guys who can bring a lot of different elements to the NFL that should get their fan bases excited.
I have Jalen Walker on the show right after. You might even be listening. What should we ask him? What would you want to ask him?
I think what position he wants to play. That's my favorite question to ask these guys that do multiple positions is which one do you want to play? And I would hope he would say edge rusher because that's what he's best at, but also because they make more money. And these young men should be thinking about this, right? If, hey, I want to go sack the quarterback. I want to be the guy that's making $30 million a year to bring down the Patrick Mahomeses and the Lamar Jacksons. But Jalen's a fantastic player. I'm excited to watch that interview. His 2 games against Georgia, I would argue, are the 2 best games any defensive player had last year. And Texas will have 4 offensive linemen drafted this year. The 5th one went back to school, or he would have been drafted as well. So that is a great resume builder for Jalen Walker.
I love that. We have him on the show. I think he is listening. I'm trying to pull up my internet's not working. I'm trying to pull up where do you have him going? I should have.
Him going to
Where
the
do you have him
Carolina
going?
Panthers at number 8. But I think his range is like 5 to Jacksonville to 8 with the Panthers. Like he's gonna go off the board very early. And the fun thing with Jalen is when you talk to coaches at Georgia or you talk to scouts who've been through there, they rave about his character, his work ethic. Like he does everything right. So not only is he a great football player, but he's the type of person that you want to build your team around. And that's why his stock has just continued to climb as we've gone through this process.
I want to start at the top. So that's the 8th. You talked about Travis Hunter. We think 4 Patriots. If he's versatile, we'll see where he'll play. I talked to Elliot Wolf about it. At the top here, I met Mike. He said Borgonzi, so fun, loved him, and he told me the Titans are getting closer to making a decision. Like they're still, for some reason, not saying the jig is up. We know who we're taking. Are there other legitimate options in play right now, or is he full of it?
I think there's some legitimate options, but the NFL tells these teams to not let us know who they're going to take because that takes the fun out of it. Even if we do by April 24th, we will probably know who it's going to be, but they want the intrigue as Roger Goodell walks across the stage in Green Bay. I think their option is take Cam Ward, the quarterback from Miami, draft Abdul Carter, the best player in the draft, in my opinion, or trade out. And I do think there will be some interest in trading out. Teams like the Cleveland Browns, the New York Giants are rumored to love Cam Ward. So there could be an option for the Titans if they get through this process and say, we like Cam Ward, but we don't love him. Would you be willing to slide back 1 or 2 spots? And you could still walk out with Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, who are the best pure football players in this draft. The problem with that is the Titans have done nothing to improve their quarterback room through free agency or trades. And we're to the point of the process where those options aren't out there anymore. You've missed out on the available guys, Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins notwithstanding. So it does feel like they've put themselves in a position where they have to draft Cam Ward, who I think they're in the process of falling in love with him. Like they know that that's the path they're going to go down. So they're talking themselves into loving him. And there is a lot to like about Cam Ward. I mean, certainly he improved every team he was on, whether it was a 0-star recruit to Incarnate Ward or Washington State or this past year at Miami. He made every program better. And that's what the Titans need right now. They need a playmaker who can improve this team and elevate what they've done offensively.
Do you like or love Cam Ward? Which one? Where are you in your
Like
process?
but like also, I think because of what I do for a living, the guys that we love, it's like you love Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's the guy. You're like, I loved Josh Allen. Those are the players where it's easy to say that you love them. Even Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels last year. Those were guys that I would put, a gold star next to as prospects. You really don't have very many questions about their play. They answered it on the field, they've answered it off the field. With Cam Ward, there is going to be that question of he's a little bit older of a prospect. Had he come out in last year's draft, he probably would have been a round 3 or round 4 player. He gets to Miami, and there will be the question of did he elevate them or did the playmakers Miami had already on the roster, guys like Xavier Restrepo, Elijah Arroyo, they bring in Damian Martinez, did those players push his game up a little bit? So there are those questions about his game as someone that has been through the ringer in college football.
I do want. Okay, so let's talk about somebody that I know you love. You already mentioned him, Abdul Carter. So why? What is driving that, and where do you think he'll go?
Sometimes it's just as simple as who could be a Pro Bowl player in this draft.
Mhm.
Or you look at someone's rookie contract, which is 5 years for a first round pick. Could you be one of the 5 best players in the NFL during that time? I think Abdul Carter could be one of the 5 best players at his position. Certainly, what he did this past year, just week by week, getting comfortable as an edge rusher full time, he got better every week. And it culminated at the end of the year. He gets hurt against Boise State. He comes in and plays with one shoulder against Notre Dame, and it was so obvious he was the best player on that field. So I'm a big believer in his athletic ability. The production obviously was through the roof. He was great, but it was watching him get better week by week as he did learn a new position. I can't wait to see what he does once he has an NFL coaching staff behind him and he continues to get more reps as a true edge player. I think the sky's the limit for him.
You have him mocked to Cleveland at 2. Cleveland with the obvious need for a quarterback.
Yeah, but you can't take a quarterback if you don't love one. And I think that's the key for so many of these teams. Cleveland made a mistake with Deshaun Watson. Like the owners have come out and said it. We messed up. We shouldn't have given him that contract. Now we got to learn from it. I think the lesson you learn from that is you can't reach at quarterback. So many of these teams have done that. We can go back to the 2021 draft. Trevor Lawrence is the only quarterback from the 5 drafted in the first round, still with his original team. 2022, Kenny Pickett, first round pick. He's on his 3rd team already. So you can't miss at the quarterback position. And I think it even goes back to the conversation with Tennessee. If you don't love that player, if you don't have that conviction that they're going to be that franchise guy that turns things around, you can't reach. And I would say that for the Browns, the Giants. I know there's going to be pressure from ownership on down to go get that guy. But if you don't believe that Shedeur Sanders, the number 2 quarterback in this draft, if you don't believe he's the right guy for your situation, I think the worst thing you can do is reach for a quarterback.
What situation is the right one for Shedeur?
I think the Steelers would be a great one for him because they have established weapons on the outside. They're going to have a good run game. They have offensive line. They also have a head coach that there's consistency there with Mike Tomlin. That would be the dream fit. If I'm Shedeur, I would want to be with Pittsburgh. Now they don't pick until 21. He's not going to want to wait that long. I think the Saints would be fun with Kellen Moore. Kellen's going to want to run an offense that's built on timing, touch, and that's what Shedeur's great at. He's accurate. I mean, he can throw to any spot on the field. He's just got to speed his process up a little bit. And I would worry about going to a team where, and I think with Cleveland, they've got some questions on the offensive line. They don't have a great number 2 receiver right now. They don't have a run game really right now. I would worry about Cleveland if I was Shedeur because they don't have those established weapons. The Giants, it's a little bit better because you have Andrew Thomas at left tackle. You have Malik Neighbors. They've got some young guys, Tyrone Tracy at running back. You would feel better about that situation. But if I'm him, what I worry about is going somewhere and having to be the savior because even at Colorado, he had Travis Hunter and he had that weapon. And they had some good other receivers too. Jimmy Horn, LeJontay Wester. They had players that were helping Shedeur out. What I would worry is going to a situation where he's going to be asked to be more of a hero and less of a point guard. Like he's a really good distributor. He's not Jaden Daniels. He's not someone that's going to go out and elevate the offense with his legs and with his arm strength. He needs weapons that he can get the ball to.
It took a long time to say Giants. It was Steelers, Saints, like those, and the Giants. It'll be so interesting. I think, there's all this talk, it's not a quarterback, but these are, I mean, Shador Sanders itself is just like so much candy. Like, where is he going to go? Is he going to slide? There's a lot to get to, and get to ESPN.com and check out Matt Miller's million round mock draft, which, like, can you just take me a little bit into that process before we go on here? Like, how long does it take? Like, take me behind the scenes a little bit.
It doesn't take as long as you would think because the key is to
Really?
be organized. It's yeah,
Ah,
just like stay organized, right? You have your list of team needs and you have your list of players who are, 1 through 400 ranked for this draft. And you really start to connect dots. I just try to be going back to being nerdy, try to be very organized. Try to have a list of like the rumors. You kind of start with some of the picks that you think will happen maybe a little bit later in the round and you kind of build around it. It's like doing the corners of a puzzle first, and then you can work from there. So it takes about a day to do 257 picks. And that's if you don't have a trade that happens in the middle of doing the mock draft, which does happen. And then you got to restart everything. Or with this mock draft, Adam Schefter so kindly the day before this ran hopped on NFL Live and said Abdul Carter
oh.
is locked in at number 2 overall. So we had to move a couple things around, but that's what makes it fun.
You don't get a heads up on that. You see that on NFL Live?
No, I was with Schefter on NFL Live when he
Oh,
said it, and
amazing.
the panic hit my face. I was like, "Oh man, I got to redo some stuff.
You're like,
Gonna be a long
okay,
night."
edit button. Let's figure it out. Carry the
Exactly.
one, shift the puzzle. I thought you were more of a Legos guy than a puzzle guy.
I'm much more of a Legos guy, as you can see behind me usually when I'm on TV. But anything that takes my mind off of mock drafts once we get to May and June and July is a good thing.
Since Abdul Carter's your favorite, which Lego set reminds you of Abdul
Oh
Carter?
wow, that's a great question. I should have been prepared for this. After the draft last year, my wife and kids got me like the pyramid from Egypt as like a hey,
Oh,
decompress yourself after the draft. So that one was fun, but it was complex. It was challenging. So that's a good one.
that's a good one. Fun, complex, and challenging. I love that for
Yeah.
Abdul Carter. Who's the person, the prospect that I'm not hearing much about? Not on my algorithm, not on my explore page, that the week of draft is going to have shot up boards.
Well, I'm not just saying this for our buddy Matt Hamilton, but I think it's Armand Mimbo, and we saw him at the Mizzou Pro Day. He didn't work out, but he is going to go so much earlier. Like, I do not be surprised if he's the 4th pick in the draft. If Shador Sanders doesn't go in the top 4, Armand Mimbo could go 4 to the Patriots. Now that means Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are gone, but if that happens, if it goes Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Armand
You
Mimbo
have
could
him
be the
going
4th pick in this
right
draft.
now. You have him going seventh overall. You have
Right,
the Jets
right.
taking him. I love that. You also have, I thought interesting, 26th overall, the Rams taking their heir apparent at quarterback, Mr. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, Jackson Dart. Love that. We talked a little Travis Hunter. We're all excited about that. You like the wide receivers, right? That's the. I would like to see. I like the running backs too. But with that, are you seeing? Not to bring up Luther Burden and make it totally Mizzou-y, but are you seeing what our good friend Matthew Hamilton is seeing?
I love Luther Burden. I think he's the top receiver in this draft for me. If you put Travis Hunter on the island that he deserves to be on his own. I don't know what's happening with the Luther Burden slander in the draft media sphere right now. I think he's fantastic. Going back to what he did as a freshman, where he was kind of a gadget player, then in his sophomore year, he becomes a true number one. This past year, the offense was disappointing. Brady Cook played down, then he got hurt. The run game wasn't the same and Luther's numbers struggled. I think his frustration got through a little bit. I'm still a big believer in him as a true number one in the NFL. He's being overthought, and this happens. Let's remember AJ Brown was the 2nd round pick. Debo Samuel was the 2nd round pick. Teams overthink things. I think Luther should be a top 20 pick in this draft. Hopefully by April 24th, teams have come around on this because he's such a special player after the catch to run you guys are showing the 40, to run the 4.41, he did that at 208 pounds. These other receivers are like 180, 185. He is built for the NFL, and the route tree he ran at Missouri has him ready for the NFL. I will stand on this hill. I don't get the overthinking that's happening with him. He's going to be a star in the NFL.
Love this. I'm getting so smart. This is like, I feel like I hired a tutor to just like get me set for the big test and all of the excitement. We have Jalen Walker coming on the show. The rumor mill, it seems a little like lackluster right now. Maybe it's too
Yeah.
early. It's a little bleak. If you could be the odds maker for NFL draft trade rumors, draft rumors, what would you make the favorite? Like what might actually
Yeah.
happen? Which one?
I think Jackson Dart going in the top 10 is the hot one. And you're right. It's been quiet. As someone who loves
Ah,
draft rumors, it's been quiet. I think it's because we don't have the big quarterbacks this year, but Jackson Dart going in the top 10, and that might be the Saints at 9. It might be a team trading up. That's the one that I'm trying to get the most intel on right now because the buzz on him has just been building. And I will be the first to admit there have been buzz on players in the past that fizzled out by the time we got to draft weekend. Mac Jones going number 3 was the big buzz not that long ago, and he didn't go until 15. So with Jackson Dart, we'll see, but it's definitely trending in the direction that he's going to go much earlier than we all thought when the season ended.
the quarterbacks always do. Death, taxes, and everyone thinks the quarterbacks are going to slide, and then they don't. Thank you so much, Matt Miller. Tell me about the Sports Center special happening tonight, 5 Eastern on ESPN2.
Yeah, our good buddy Field Yates put out a new mock draft today. So we're going to analyze it and rip it to shreds and probably make fun of Field a little bit. So it'll be a good time.
I love that. You know, Field's not going to give you a Lego comp question. I'll tell you that. That you only
He's
get
not.
here. Up and down. I'm sure tell him amazing work, you guys. Thank you for everything that you do to make it easy for me and fans like me to figure out what's going on. Matt Miller, check out his mock draft, by the way, over on ESPN.com. Matt, thank you.
Thank you.